Hello, my name is Nicholl, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I title this message, Dating, How Close is a Date to Family and Friends? One of the things that many singles come across when dating is that one that says, I'm so close to my family. Or, me and my family, we used to be real close, but okay. Or I don't have a lot of friends, or I have too many friends and I need to get rid of some, or I just don't have any real good friends, right? Okay, so we can be very petty about some things. We could say, well, somebody who has too many friends, well, they might not have time for me. And somebody who has too little friends, well, I don't know. They're probably needy and all of that. Don't assume anything early on. You haven't gotten enough information to make any valid conclusion that this person is one or the other. So you got to get to know some folks in order to determine how close they really are to their family or friends. Or are you going to be their family? Mother, father, sister, brother, are you going to end up being their best friends and everything else? And if that is the case, that's going to be a lot. And some folks are in those kind of relationships right now. They're everything to some folks. They didn't want to be that, though. They thought that these folks were healthy, that they were stable-minded, that they were good to go. And they found out that no, this person was needy, that they were impatient, that they were frustrating. The reason why their family wasn't around them was because of all of their issues. Their friends abandoned them because they knew that they were a little bit off. You see? So all of this sort of stuff starts taking place, and the person realizes, this is too great of a burden for me. And this person needs Jesus Christ and a therapist and not me. And so they just, they go. Or if they haven't gone, they're still in it, but they're not happy. Okay? You can leave if you're in a situation like this. I mean, God is not requiring you, believer, to stay in an unhappy situation, especially if you're not married to the person. There's really no excuse to keep carrying a heavy load with some folks. Some folks, they are controlling. That's why they stay in binding relationships. That's why they don't mind being the mother, the sister, the brother, the father to somebody, because they're controlling. Yes, this is what I want. I want to control her, because here she don't have a father that's going to be there for her. She don't have a mother that's going to be there. She's going to just, need some type of guidance because her crazy behind's going to end up doing something, you see? So I got to be there. I remember a man that I dated years ago. He was there for this woman, and this woman was off. I mean, off. Matter of fact, I felt motivated by his story, as well as many others' story when I wrote She's Crazy. Okay. And this man, he was everything to this woman unto death. And then he looked a little bit off the next time when I caught up with him. You see, spent too many years trying to be everything to that woman, and that man's mind was a little bit off. Okay. He was a lot different than the man that I knew 20 some years ago, and not in a good way either. Okay. So how close is the date to their family and friends? And is there some little odd things going on that you notice a little bit early? And you're saying, wow, I haven't really even gotten to know this person, and I'm already seeing some things that I just don't like. Well, hold on to that. Don't dismiss those thoughts. Don't dismiss those things. Okay. Has a date defined how close? When they say they're close or not so close, have they defined that? You need to ask them, what do you mean? Okay. Just what I said. No, I need some specifics. Do you mean that you're close to the point where you're walking in a nude around mom and dad? Well, no, not like that. Well, I need to know, what kind of close are we talking about? You see? I'm not that close. Well, what do you mean? You mean that you haven't talked to your mom like in 5 years? I mean, come on, tell me. How much is not close? Okay. What does not close mean? So get specifics. Another thing is, ask yourself this question. Is it a healthy relationship with loved ones if they are so close? Okay. Is it really a healthy relationship? Because see, close could be that I report to my mother every single day and I tell her everything that's going on in my life. That's unhealthy. If you are a grown adult, you have a life of your own. Why do you feel that you got to report to your mother every itty bitty thing that's going on in your life? Do you need guidance on every aspect of your life? Do you need mom's approval on everything? Is your mom so bored that she needs to know everything that's going on with you? Something is not quite right. Some folks will say, no, you shouldn't say that. No, I am saying it because we have to get to a place of maturity. Some folks don't even talk to God every single day. Now, why are people talking to flawed human beings every single day about their life? Okay. That's something to think about. So somebody needs to redirect their focus onto God and not spend so much time talking to mommy every single day, daddy every single day, sister every single day. Okay. Now, there are those that, let's say that they do that because there is something going on with mom or with the sister, they're definitely ill or what have you. Okay, that's different. That's totally different. But you will eventually have some type of conflict with a partner over what you're saying to mom. Because at some point you're going to talk about your partner and your partner's going to overhear that conversation. And that's where you get yourself into trouble. Well, maybe I shouldn't be talking to mom so much. Yeah. Because now you're starting to talk about your partner and your partner doesn't like that sort of thing. So we nip that in the bud before we start going out here dating. Mom, I'm going to talk to you, a couple times a week, but not every day because, I got this going on in my life and that. A lot of times people don't have too much going on in their life. That's why they have time to chit chat with every family member about everything. They don't really have a life. So what is so-and-so doing? Oh, yeah. What? Get out of here. Oh, well, let me tell you about Bob. Let me tell you about this guy I'm dating. You don't have enough time, filled up with activity if everybody got to know everything that's going on in your dating life, you see. So you nip those things early on so that they don't become problems later on. Are relatives pushy? Pay attention to that. And you'll find out a lot of these things if you get that opportunity to spend time with their family during holiday events, during special times. Are relatives pushy? Do they become easily irritated around their relatives? Are the relatives easily irritated when you come around? What's going on there? You barely know me and you're already irritated. That's because 9 times out of 10, that person has brought a lot of dates around. And so after a while, family members get tired of seeing folks. Are these folks irresponsible? And is your date irresponsible as well? People just living haphazardly, people not being responsible, showing up late, not tending to tasks, making promises. They don't keep them. Always got an excuse as to why they don't get things done. They don't connect like they're supposed to, when they say, I'm going to, go out on a date with you, but then they turn around and then, oh, no, I'm sorry. And they always got excuses. Something's going on there. And a lot of times they're wrapped up with their family stuff. Family can be controlling. You had a great relationship. You guys got along and then you met the family. Now you guys aren't getting along. Why? Because mom is saying something. Dad is saying something. Sister and brothers, I don't like him. I don't like her. Now there's a disinterest. Okay. You may have gone around the family and they don't really act like they're interested in anything dealing with that partner that you're dating. Okay. They're acting very irritable with them. They're being impatient. Looks like they're not as close to their family as they would like for you to believe. Okay. Do you feel as if you are filling some kind of void in a date's life? You are filling some kind of void, filling up some kind of void in a date's life. Do you feel that way? As you get to know this person, do you feel like you are having to take on roles that you really don't want to take on, like babysit their children? Okay. I just met you like 2 weeks ago and I'm already babysitting your children. Okay. I'm, the massage, I'm the masseuse. I'm giving you the massage. I'm giving you, grocery money. I'm, stopping by with some medicine for you. I'm doing all this stuff for you. I'm not the errand boy. I'm not the errand girl. And what am I getting in return? What? A little bit of this, a little bit of that? Come on. Start paying close attention to what's happening. Are they really close to their family? Maybe that's what their family does for them, and now they want you to fill that void, or their family used to do it, but not anymore. So they, like to take advantage. If you're okay with all of that, so be it. If you're okay with a one-sided relationship, so be it. But eventually you're going to start to become resentful, bitter. You're going to start arguing your case. I'm tired of spoiling you. When am I going to get spoiled? Oh, I don't have that money. I don't have the time. I'm working. I have my friends that I want to connect with. I mean, we can connect next week. Wait a minute. So it's okay for me to give all of this to you. But when your mom or your dad comes around, you don't have time for me. You see, those are red alert signs. Does he or she behave well around his circle or her circle? Do they tend to bring out the worst or the best in he or she? Do you see that your partner's becoming easily upset, going off, yelling at you, and you're saying, wait a minute, you just came from your parents' house. Why are you acting like this with me? That's a good indication they're not very close to their parents, even though they might want you to believe something different. Why is it that every time you come around me, there's always some kind of drama, and the connection is that you just saw your sister or you just saw your best friend? You see? So there's going to come a point where they're going to have to choose you or the best friend or the relatives or whatever. And most likely they're going to choose the best friend and the relatives if they haven't had any type of enlightenment or awakening that mom or dad or cousin or somebody is poisonous. Okay? Toxic, if you will. Do you feel as if a date is putting on a show, right? Pretending to like or love certain relatives, family, friends. A lot of these showboat type of folks, braggarts, they're not really in love with folks. They're in love with themselves and the way people make them look or feel. And so if they're like that with their relatives and their friends, they're going to be like that with you. As long as you're providing for me and making me look good and all that good stuff, you're in. The minute you start making me feel uncomfortable, you start standing up for truth, I don't really like you so much. I want you to make me look good. I don't want you to make me feel bad. I want to be able to say whatever and do whatever to you, and you shouldn't have to call me out on it. That's not healthy. Okay? That's not healthy. Run. Eventually, that relationship, if you marry that person, is going to end in divorce. That's a fact. Self-absorbed people do not make good partners. Selfish people that's only about the show do not make good partners. They pretend, and they want you to pretend. And if you are a realist and you don't like pretending or playing fake, then it's not going to last very long. But if you can go along with the sham, with the fake, with the, oh my gosh, hi, how are you? Oh, and do like they do, you just might be okay. You might be able to, last a little while with them. It's sad, though, that some people feel that they have to pretend as if they're close to their family. A lot of times they do that because they're jealous that you might be close to your family, you see. So, yes, they're going to exaggerate. They're going to say that they spoke to parents, and meanwhile you find out they haven't spoken to their parents in 10 years. Okay. Or they're going to lie and say that, someone in their family bought them something when they really bought it. Okay. Well, why would you lie? Why would you come up with that? Well, are they really going to tell you that it's because I'm jealous that you're close to your mom and your dad and I'm not close to my mom and dad? Of course they're not. Of course they're not. They're not going to do that. And in some people, they don't have any issues with being distant from their relatives. It doesn't mean that they're, miserable people, that they have unhealthy connections and so forth. It's just that they are very wise in the types of people that they want in their circle. I happen to be one of them. I don't want any and everybody in my circle. Doesn't matter their title. So for some people, they may have an issue with that. And that's the problem, you see. But folks that have to cover up, how they really feel, or what their connections are, or what connections they don't have, that's sad. And the last point is, does your date appear to compete with you when you tell stories about your relatives and friends? Do you feel like you're in some kind of competition? You say something about your relative, now they got to say something about their relative, and it has to top what you said. Okay. And that's some personality stuff that's going on with that person, because usually if they're like that, in that conversation, they're like that in other things too. You bought something, now they got to go out and get something that's bigger and better. Okay. You do something for someone, now they got to turn around and do something for someone. They tend to mirror, and those people are your phony ones. They're your pretenders. They're the ones that, rather than focusing on a relationship, they're focusing on trying to compete with you. Are they empathizing with you when you're telling them things about your family or your friends without making comparisons to their family and friends? So you go through something that's, pretty heart-wrenching concerning a relative. Are they turning right around and saying something that is equally or worse heart-wrenching? Or are they not saying anything negative about their family? If anything, during times of crisis, they tend to say a lot of positive things, and you almost feel as if you're being put down. This isn't the time to get into how loving and sweet and kind your mother is when I'm talking about something that really hurt me that my cousin said, right? Why would you feel like you want to start talking about, oh, well, see, that's why people in my family, we don't agree with that sort of thing, and my mother raised us to be this way and that way. And that's sad that your mom and dad and your cousin and so forth are this way. I mean, because my people, okay, that is so wrong. But relationships with the wrong folks tend to be that way. And it isn't any wonder why folks get cheated on, why folks end up not wanting to be with each other anymore. People just go their separate ways. We can't even have a quality conversation without you wanting to put me down, without you wanting to compete with me, without you saying how great your mama is. It's unfortunate, but these people, they do this sort of thing, and then they wonder why they remain single. It's those little conversations early on that will predict pretty much how the future will be. If you're looking for a quality partner, you got to look for the healthy conversations. You got to look for the quality things in that person. Yes, do we have flaws? We all have flaws. But if the flaws are more than the pros, right? Then you're going to have your share of issues. If you know that you cannot tolerate certain things, then why dismiss your thoughts, your feelings? Why give somebody the pass? No, I can't. That's one of my deal breakers. I'm sorry. I cannot deal with people who like to exaggerate about everything that their family does. Then you want me to come along to the family events and make you look good. And then, I got to tolerate how your mother mistreats you. And then you say, but that's your mother. And you can't say anything against your mother. And you can't stand up. So I already know what this is going to be about. Later on down the line, you're going to end up not being there for me. It's going to be about your family, your family, your family, your family for the holidays, your family for the special events. I'm supposed to save some money so that you can go see your family. We're supposed to go into our joint saving account and bail out your family. It's your family. It's your family. You see, early on, those signs are there and they end up following you through the relationship. And then eventually you become resentful and bitter. And then, you're not as kind and sweet and nice as you once were because you went through so much with somebody's family. So pay attention when somebody says, I'm close to my mother. I can't live without my mother. Pay attention to when somebody says, oh, I can't stand none of my people. Well, 9 times out of 10, eventually they can't stand you either. So the writing is on the wall. Thank you so much, singles, for supporting YouTube NMEnterprise7. Please do share this audio with someone who needs to hear it. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Give if you feel so led to give. We greatly appreciate it. And check the description box for anything related to your situation. I have some interesting books, some books that might just free some folks out of some binding situations. Check out Tell Me Mother You're Sorry if you're dealing with manipulative, bossy, controlling mamas or grandmamas, spiritual mamas, stepmothers, mother-in-laws, you name it. We talk about it in Tell Me Mother You're Sorry. Check out Know Your Enemy if you are a new believer in Christ. Know Your Enemy, the Christian's Critic. When Mothers Cry. When Mothers Cry is available. It's been around for years. And this is the type of book that is for those new moms or moms that are struggling with motherhood stuff, or people who are curious about what it is that moms go through. Okay. It's a good study. You can also go over to whenmotherscry.blogspot.com. And if you are laboring to love an abusive mate and you just don't want to tell anyone, you might want to check out the blog Laboring to Love an Abusive Mate.blogspot.com. Thank you for listening. To God be the glory.